Andy is wearing the shirt that I asked him to wear because Andy is a Paul Heyman guy, and we have a new Paul Heyman guy in the WWE. His name is Seth freaking Rollins. What a night one at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. I'm Chris Belcher, Andy York, Jared Justice. We are here to break it all down on Squared Circle Radio Live. If you've been with us all week, we've been pumping content at you all week long on the YouTube channel, so go back and check all those things out. But man, the time is now. Night one is officially in the books. Andy, it was a crazy night, dude, topped off with a crazy ending.
Yeah, it was a up and down night for WrestleMania, I would say, but buddy, the main event more than delivered. In-ring, storytelling, all of it. I think there's a lot of people that may have questioned why this was main eventing night one. And now you see exactly why this was the main event, because it's everything you want in a WrestleMania main event, from a swerve to great in-ring to three of the biggest names in the industry, and just a wonderful way to cap off night one of WrestleMania.
If you're live in the chat with us, make sure you drop your comments, drop your questions. We're taking those as well. Aaron Grisham, Jared says that it was absolute cinema. What a main event it was to cap off night one, man.
Dude, I hate to say I told you so, but now I love to say I told you so. I love it. That's all I have to say.
Of the three of us, if you go back this week and checking the archives, Jared did pick the correct answer for the main event. But having said that, we all three were in agreement that Seth Rollins deserved the win the most, and he got it in an incredible way. Andy, I'm going to go to you first. As we look back throughout the way the match was told, an incredible triple threat match. But when Heyman, not when Heyman gave the chair to Punk, but Andy, when Heyman got in the ring, what were your thoughts?
Well, as soon as he got in the ring and started to awkwardly shift his way over, I knew he's going to.
Jared would say waddle, right? Jared,
yeah.
he sort of waddled his way over.
Walrus. He's a walrus.
But I knew he was going to low blow Punk, because it just, the way everything was going, it made sense. But what sold me that this was actually happening, that he was going to join Seth, was Roman's reaction to it all. Like how Roman reacted as this kid who got something taken away from him, and then you give it back, and he's like this annoying kid that's all in your face about it and everything else. I could just tell, this he's not going to end the night with Roman either. He's mad at both of these guys for making him pick between the two of them, so he's going to go with the third choice and just kind of flip everything on its head. And so the way they just did everything at the end, even Michael Cole's reaction afterwards was just perfect of setting up. Seth's no longer a tweener. Seth is fully a heel now. Paul Heyman is fully with them. And just it was a wild way to end that triple threat.
It really was, Jared. I thought after Heyman low blowed Roman that he was just going to walk out and he wouldn't have anything to do with Seth. But dude, Seth getting that look on his face and then holding his hand out like Roman would hold his hand out for the microphone, and Heyman giving him the chair. Oh my goodness. So good.
So I was watching it with my wife, and as soon as it happened, I told you what was going to happen. And so Paul stayed in the ring, and I was like, he's going to turn on Roman too. He's going to hit him between the legs. So that's really all Paul can do. And
Correct.
So whenever that he kept standing beside Roman, I was like, it's coming. And she's like, I don't think so. And I was like, it's coming. And so then he gets down, low blows Roman, goes over to the corner, and I was like, well, he's done. He's too fat to get back up. He can't. So he's done. And then, I just loved it. Loved it when Seth won. It was great. I mean, if I could have picked, I was a Punk guy, but I just had this feeling, man, that Seth, it was happening.
Listen, I'm wearing a Roman Reigns t-shirt the night that it happens, but I am absolutely stoked that Seth Rollins won this match. We talked about it ad nauseum. on the podcast this past week. If you guys that are watching us live and joining us for the first time, just make sure to go back and check out previous episodes. Stick right here with us on tonight's show. But when you get the chance, go back, make sure you hit the subscribe button and go check out previous episodes, because we have talked ad nauseum. Seth Rollins just deserved this. He needed the big win on the big stage, and he got it in a huge way. Aaron in the comments, I see you about the rest of night one. I'm going to get to that, I promise. We got a comment here from Sean Lucas. Last match was a beautiful masterpiece. It was, guys, Jared, we speculated the fact that we didn't know how they would connect the pieces with Seth and with Paul. And I would argue, Jared, that we still don't know, but now we're going to find out. Is Heyman with Seth long term? Was this the favor that Seth said that Heyman owed him, and it's just a one and done and we move on? I don't know, but I'm anxious to see how they do it, Jared.
I think they're going to play it off like that, even before the favor deal, like he was with Seth. And I still think Andy's right, dude. I think tomorrow, I think Paul is going to do something else, and we're possibly going to see Rock, Seth, Heyman,
and Cena.
And Cena, yeah.
And Cena, yeah. Andy, listen, you almost blew up the show by making that prediction. So listen, for all of you that are watching live, if that happens tomorrow night, Andy predicted it. And last night on the Sports Wire Radio WrestleMania preview show that I was on with Tom Bryce and a couple of other guys on the Sports Wire crew, I made it known that Andy made this call, and I said, listen, this is what he predicted. And step one of that, Andy, has come to fruition. Let's see what happens tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think they have something big planned for tomorrow night's main event too, because I don't think you start WrestleMania weekend by finishing the show like this if you don't have something as big, or if not bigger, planned for the night two WrestleMania main event. So I think something like this could play in. I don't like The Rock doesn't even necessarily have to show up. If Heyman and Seth go out there and just help Cena win, that just automatically aligns all the powers that be together. Which I love that you've got your corporate guy in Rock, you've got your part-time champ in John Cena, you've got your workhorse full-time guy in Seth Rollins, and you've got your mouthpiece in Paul Heyman. It's everything that they wanted the Authority to be in 2015, just better. Like in every aspect, they've got so many better pieces put together for it. So yeah, I think that as this was happening tonight, it just was becoming clearer and clearer that could be a possibility for how WrestleMania ends tomorrow night. And I'm hoping so. And if it is WWE, I'm expecting the check in the mail, because it's like we've talked about. It's a masterclass. It's beautiful.
I'm anxious. Go ahead, Jared.
It's going to be basically the new Dangerous Alliance if that happens. I don't know. He's not Paul Lee Dangerously anymore. He's Paul Heyman. So I don't know what they're going to call it, but it's basically going to be the new Dangerous Alliance.
They could call it that. I mean, I think that's fine. They could call it that. Let me get a couple of these comments here. We're talking about how great this is and how much of a masterclass it is and just how beautiful that it is. But Brandon in the comments saying, WWE, it's easy to know what happens in matches. And we've talked about their predictability before. Brandon's thrown up another comment. He says, I see Cena wins and takes the title home, and WWE will make a new title so they can get away from the Vince era. Those are two loaded predictions right there. But Jared, as a longtime viewer of wrestling and old school, and then Andy, you chime in as well, we've talked about how this is a little more predictable in the Triple H era, but it's more predictable because it's more fan service and sort of giving us what we want with some unexpected twists and turns along the way. What do you think?
First of all, I just got a message from my buddy, Jacob Barber, and he says that Jey Uso appears to be crap-faced in his in the interview that's going on right now. So that's interesting.
Doesn't surprise me.
Nope.
Okay. So ask me that again. I was distracted. I apologize. I'm sorry about it.
It's okay. I'll throw Brandon's comment back up here. He says, WWE, it's easy to know what happens in matches. And we've talked about that predictability under the Triple H regime, but the fact that it seems to be working out because it's kind of what the fans want, but then they give us those twists and turns along the way that just keeps us guessing.
a lot of tonight, I think, was predictable. I mean, I guessed a lot of it right. I think you boys guessed a lot of it right. A lot of them just to keep continuity of storyline going, which is what I think they are trying to do. I think Triple H is already booking towards next year's WrestleMania and who he's going to set up. Like, I think he already sees that in his mind. So, yeah, if you pay attention to the product, kind of like how Sam Roberts says, if you watch the product, that's the first rule. You watch the product and you can a lot of times predict what's going on. The main event, I think a lot of people made a lot of predictions. It's just what happened. Some people predicted it, and that one's the one that came true.
Yep. I agree. Andy?
Yeah, I agree too. And I think predictability is not always an indication that it's bad. Like,
Correct.
sometimes things are predictable for a reason, because like Jared mentioned, the story is either heading in that direction or it makes sense. And I think that's something new, at least in the Triple H regime, that we've really started to pick up on, is everything now matters. Like, we don't start a story, stop a story, then start a story, then stop a story, and then try to come back to it later, or whatever the case is. Everything is fluid and everything is moving and everything's going forward. And so predictability is not always a bad thing. I think it's in a lot of ways it's a good thing. I would say, like, tonight's main event was not predictable. I mean, all three of us picked somebody different to win the whole thing. We talked about scenarios. The scenarios made sense for all three, that's a direction that they could go in. So I think we're out of the swerving for swerve's sake, which I don't know. Like, I think there's a place for that. I think there's a time for that because it works sometimes.
Yep.
But then 9 times out of 10, if we're honest and looking at a lot of like the swerves that just happen out of nowhere, 9 times out of 10 that put them back in the corner and not, advancing a storyline or doing something that is shocking.
I think that the Russo swerves for swerve's sake, bro. I think that's over. Thank God.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'll put this comment again from Sean Lucas. Sean, appreciate you commenting. Again, if you're watching us live and you want to drop your comments and questions, please do that. We're going to try to get to each and every one of those as best we can. And again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, hit the like button. We would appreciate that so very much. Help us grow this channel. Tell a friend, and then grab their phone and hit subscribe on there if they don't want to do it. Just do it for them. Okay. Sean's comment: the predictability was easy tonight, but the storyline build up for the main event is what made the match better. Oh, I mean, without a doubt, that video package that they put together for this match was just absolutely insane. It was so good. Yeah. And then the history that these guys have and the callbacks and stuff like that. Let's look back. The entrances for each of these guys. Oh my gosh. Like, they were just done so masterfully, with Roman with the screens coming down with his family behind him and his new gear. And then you had Rollins with the flamethrower and then the all white. And then you had Punk get played live in living color. Jared, just presented as a main event should.
It was beautiful. And what I loved was that, like, Seth goes from being dark, he's been without friends, and then he comes to the light. And there he is, like, this is a new version. They basically told you, just in like the color schemes and what's going on, they told you something was going to happen if you paid attention.
Aaron in the comments, and we'll read a couple of these, Andy, and then we'll get your thoughts here. The result may have been predictable, but if the acting is well done and storytelling is well done, I'm all in. You can have a well-written movie that is completely ruined by terrible acting. And Heyman's performance deserves all the Oscars. Andy, speaking of those entrances, we got Punk's old theme. They played This Fire Burns during the package, leading into his entrance. Just so well done, man.
Yeah, that's the part that, like, as soon as I heard that hit with the video package, I didn't even see anything yet. I went, that was the entrance of the night, because we got This Fire Burns. Nothing's going to beat that this entire weekend. I don't care what anybody does. And I loved even just the video package of showing old Punk cutting a promo and interweaving it with like modern day Punk. And it's still the same guy telling the same story he's been telling since day one. And like we've talked about before on here, you never know what you're going to get with live entrance music being played. However, like the couple of times Living Color has done it, they've never really been that bad. Like I'm always fine with them coming out. But just everything, like you mentioned, I think like Jared mentioned, Seth's character going from dark to light. I think him burning the building down is him burning down his old character, and we're getting this brand new character started on Monday or like starting tonight.
Bingo.
And just foreshadowing everything. That's the thing that I love now about this is they realize we don't need our handheld when it comes to storytelling. Like we pick up on this stuff on our own. And when we pick up on it on our own and you don't tell it to us, then we appreciate it even more. So when you do predictable stuff like tonight, it doesn't feel like a slap in the face, like, oh, we could see that a mile away. No, you're just progressing the story to this point. And now now I don't know what the next chapter looks like. Like we got to this point, that's great. But what happens next? And I think that's the most important part.
You're just connecting the dots. And it's super cool, Jared, because the other thing that I noticed talking about burning down the city, Seth, and again, Michael Cole talking about how he's with Heyman, blah, blah, blah. Seth wouldn't let the referee raise his hand at the end of the match. He slapped the referee's hand away, which even normal heels, when they win a match, don't necessarily do that. But Seth did it, showing again, we're on the road. Maybe we don't get a new entrance theme. Maybe we do. I don't know. All I know, Jared, is I want him to keep the entrance theme because I want Heyman to actually sing it. Since he tried to get him to the other week, I want Heyman to sing it. I don't know. I'm anxious to see what other details that they drop into this.
Speaking, I thought you were going to take my thought, but you didn't. Thank goodness. Did you notice that whenever Michael Cole was talking during the match, if you pay attention closely, what he said was, the goal has always been to win, for CM Punk to win at WrestleMania. That sets up next year because now he main evented WrestleMania, but they build it up like, no, it wasn't just main eventing. He's got to win at WrestleMania.
Yep. Yeah. We're long-term booking, as Andy said, like we're setting up for the future for sure here. One thing to point out, and this is something that I preached to everybody that was in my house as we watched this, is that in this, where we've shifted the look of shows in January and gone to Netflix and 3 hours on USA, they have emphasized every single show that this new sturdy commentary table has never been broken since January. And they broke both of them tonight.
So beautifully. Broke them beautifully.
Yes, that is out the window. Final thoughts, as we got a lot to get to as far as the rest of the card goes. Final thoughts on the main event, not necessarily how it leads to tomorrow night, but just final thoughts. Jared, I'll go to you first on this main event and what we saw to close up tonight.
I think Aaron said it, cinema. I mean, if you're ever going to say cinema, it's becoming one of those things that people almost overuse sometimes. But this tonight, that was cinema, and I loved it.
Yeah. Andy?
Yeah, I go back to the right man, and I think Bryce just said the right man won.
He did. Like, yep. There it is.
I am as big of a diehard Punk fan as you can meet. I love Punk. I love Roman. Nobody deserves this moment more in the sun, in the spotlight, than Seth Rollins.
Yep.
And so seeing him get this moment on WrestleMania after everything he put his body through last year, and everything that he's just kind of done his entire career, he's always been that guy that's like, he's second best to Roman. Even though he's like got Roman's number, he's always going to be the second guy behind Roman.
Yep.
And tonight he's got that big win. He's got another win over Roman that he's going to absolutely throw in his face.
Yep.
And like we mentioned, like I could see Roman versus Seth next year at WrestleMania. I could see them running this triple threat back again next year at WrestleMania if they play their cards right and they kind of tell the story. But just a
have the title at that point in the triple threat. Could have title.
Yeah. So it's like just a fantastic main event that potentially could set the stage for an even bigger end tonight too.
I completely agree. All right. We appreciate you guys again being live with us. Drop your comments, drop your questions. Even if you're watching the replay, you can send us comments and questions. We will get to each and every one of those. Most importantly, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do that. It helps us grow the show. It helps us spread the word of the show. Hit that thumbs up button on the video as well. We would appreciate that so very much. Jared, I know, has been working diligently over the last couple of days to help spread the word about the show. And I know he's got a couple of shout outs to some guys who are new to the channel, who are new to joining us. Jared, who's some guys you want to shout out?
First and foremost, Hideaway Novelties. They have 2 locations here in Pikeville. They have great stuff. So those 2 boys, I've decided to name them as a tag team, the Hideaway Boys. Instead of the Hardy Boys, we got the Hideaway Boys.
Love it.
We got Gabe Kaiser and we got Sean Huffman there. We got the guy that was my best friend growing up in grade school, Justin Taylor. He just subscribed on every platform that you can. He subscribed to our show as WrestleMania was going on. Good buddy of mine, Sonny Buckley. He is a city boy, city cop here in Pikeville. He's always doing good. I see him from time to time a lot. We've gone fishing before, and he's decided to start watching the show. My buddy Dwayne Gray, met him at a hospital here locally, and been friends with him ever since. My buddy Brad Speck, of course, he's always commenting, even whenever he's in Japan, ladies and gentlemen. And,
yes,
again,
that is accurate.
Again, my buddy Jacob Barber, he's the one that messaged me. That was why I lost my attention there for just a second. But you all want to tell me stuff during the show, I'll say it. Message me right here on the cell phone, and I'll bring it up.
Hey, listen, all of you new guys to the channel, thank you so much. We appreciate your support. Again, just help spread the word about the show. It helps so much. Before we move on to what else happened at night number 1, I want to get this comment from Brandon here. I was going to bring this up towards the end of the show as it looks towards night number 2, but who is your pick, he asks, for the Randy Orton match? I know who Andy is going to choose, but Brandon dropping it again. Aleister Black, I think it'll be him, or Nick Aldis. I'm going to go with Nick Aldis. I don't know that they rushed the Aleister Black debut, especially because last night on SmackDown, they fully revealed next week's date. So I think if they were going to rush the Black debut, they wouldn't have shown that package, or they would have altered it or something. So my pick's going to be Nick Aldis. Jared, let's go to you, because we're going to save Andy's to last because we know whose Andy's is.
Dude, I think it's going to be Nick Aldis. I saw something recently of him. I think it was actually something WWE showed in like a video package where that he was in his wrestling gear. I think the reason why they put that out was to let everybody see, hey, this is what this guy looks like in the ring. So I think the safe bet, speaking of predictability, Aaron, I think the safe bet that's predictable is Nick Aldis.
All right. You don't know what tomorrow is? Have you not heard what tomorrow is?
I'm scared to ask.
Tomorrow's Rusev Day. Yeah, tomorrow was the day whenever me and
Chris went to Mania. You remember everybody chanting it outside?
Oh my gosh!
Listen, I will tell you right now,
WrestleMania 34 Rusev Day was the hottest that it has ever been. And yes, Jared and I were in the building, and it wasn't everybody chanting "woo," and it was Rusev Day the whole time.
If we get to tomorrow night and Randy's in the ring and we hear Aiden English clear his throat, I will lose my mind if that happens and Rusev comes out.
Man,
I think you guys are right. I would lean more towards Nick Aldis, but I think they have big plans for Rusev when they bring him in, and a massive return at WrestleMania to face Nick Aldis, to face Randy Orton. I think is just, if they want to bring him in and make him have an impact right away and set him up as either a top tier guy or just a guy that they can depend on, I could see that happening as well.
All right, Aaron's got one, and I'm going to throw this comment up because only Aaron could bring this up. It's going to be Rusev, but we want Brock Lesnar. Now, there's lots of speculations about Brock with this whole main event tonight and tomorrow night situation. I hate to bring the party down, but I have a feeling there's some legal issues that WWE might touch when it comes to Brock Lesnar. However, it would be huge. if Brock Lesnar was
huge
to face Randy Orton tomorrow night. All right, let's get back to tonight. Charlotte Flair coming up short in the women's championship match against Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany chipped her tooth in the middle of the match, all the things. Listen, I will say this, and Jared, you can chime in here.
Okay.
I was incredibly bored during this match. This was the one match that I couldn't do it. Like I was bored during this. It just wasn't good to me. Jared, what do you think?
Yeah, I had it on, but it lost my attention very quickly. And it's not that they
look at
it's not that they what are we saying here? Okay.
Aaron's gonna be in the DMs fighting Kaiser, of course. Yeah. Sean says the match went too long. Maybe that's why I thought it was boring. Go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, man. Gosh, that tooth, man. I looked at my wife and I said, "What is going on with her mouth?"
Yeah.
And she said, "I think she chipped a tooth." And I was like, "Are you serious?" And I looked, and sure enough, that's what it looked like. Man, you know that had to suck.
Yep, that was bad. Andy, what do you think?
Yeah, it was fine. Like, it wasn't the worst WrestleMania match we've ever seen. It wasn't anything, crazy that happened. I don't know. Like, I think the story going into this and everything else, there was a lot of buzz around this match, whether it was going to, they could start shooting on each other. They like physicality or anything like that. They never really played into that. Like, I think they had an opportunity to play into that more in the match and it be a little more entertaining. But it was your standard Charlotte at WrestleMania. I'll tell you what, it reminded me a lot of Charlotte versus Ronda at WrestleMania 38. Of just, it's not bad, but it's a nothing match at WrestleMania.
There's a lot of hype around it, and it just didn't live up to it.
Yeah.
Aaron's got some interesting takes here. Let me throw these up here real quick. Yes, Aaron, I did say this in my house, and everybody made fun of me. Them wearing the same color scheme, yes, really grind my gears. I agree.
Which
totally grind my gears as well.
I blame Charlotte for that because Tiffany got the big Barbie entrance. Of course, she's going to wear pink. I think Charlotte did that as like a, I'm Barbie too. I'm blonde too. Like I'm this. You're not me. Like I'm doing this. Even in your big WrestleMania stage entrance, I'm going to show you up by wearing the same thing.
Yeah,
especially if Charlotte knew that she was going to lose.
Yep.
She did it as a smack in the face to Tiff.
Yep.
Yeah. Let me get to these comments from Aaron because he brought up some interesting points. Aaron, stop commenting for a second, please. Blowing it up here. I'm trying to find he's just going crazy.
I was trying to mute for a second because I was chewing up a Reese cup. If they ever want to sponsor us, right there they are. And I couldn't figure out what the button was because of Aaron's comments.
Oh, we love Aaron Grisham to death. Cross our fingers. Aaron may be joining us on the podcast tomorrow night, live and in person. So, Aaron just needs to make that happen tomorrow night. He says Tiffany was getting her hand held by Charlotte. The lights were too big for her. Charlotte was trying to help her, but also kill her. That could also be accurate. Andy, what are your thoughts there? In like that? Do you think the lights were too big for Tiffany? I felt like it was a little more clunky on Charlotte's end, but maybe that's just my rose-colored glasses looking at it.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way with you. As I've never been a big Charlotte fan. Even after all the stuff that's happened the last couple of weeks, it's made me not like her even more. I don't think the moment was too bright for Tiffany. Obviously, like, it's her first big time WrestleMania match. So there's going to be a lot of nerves. There's going to be a lot of just excitement behind it. So you want somebody in there who can walk her through it and who will take her, like, who will go with her. I don't know. I think there's a lot of bad blood. As Aaron mentions in another comment, the Nepo baby strikes again. I'm sorry, the Nepo queen strikes again. And I think this was like I think this was the modern day Hulk Hogan. That doesn't work for me, brother. Like, I'm going to get my moment in. I'm going to get my shine in, whether you win or not. I'm surprised she didn't kick out at like 3.2 like Hogan used to do.
Right.
Just to
She
be
broke her tooth.
Yeah, like
She broke her tooth.
I don't put any of the blame on this looking at it right now on Tiffy. I put it all on Charlotte.
Brandon,
do you remember?
Hang on, just say it, Jared. Brandon, I see your comment. I'm going to get to that as soon as we wrap up this match. I will get to that. Just hang tight. Go ahead, Jared.
Do you remember whenever Smoky Mountain would come around, Chris? I know you do. And James E. Cornette all the time would call Sonny, who was Tammy Sitch back then, a witch with a capital B. I think
Yes,
that Charlotte has been coming across as just that lately, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte making Tiffany come out first, wearing the same color gear. She put her over, but it was just clunky along the way. Aaron says he can't stand Charlotte, but she's actually a great wrestler. I think Charlotte is a great wrestler with the right kind of dance partner.
Bingo.
She is the Randy Orton of the women's division. When she cares, she's great. When she doesn't care, she doesn't do anything.
I can get behind that. I can,
and that's not the case with Randy like right now, but like you remember like 2018 to 2022 Randy, if he didn't care, then you could tell it in his matches that he didn't care. And I think the same is true with Charlotte.
I got to put this comment up. Jared's going to love this. Sean Lucas and Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Now we are talking. Good callback. Listen, Sean, if you're new to the show, Jared and I, both from Pikeville, Kentucky, in the heart of where Smoky Mountain Wrestling ran so many times at the Pikeville College Gymnasium. Did we see the Rock and Roll Express? Did we see the Coal Miners Glove match against Al Snow and Unabomb? Did we see The Undertaker? Did we see Tracy Smothers and the Dirty White Boy? And we even saw Earthquake, new Hall of Famer, and Mabel break the ring at one point. Just, Jared, so many Smoky Mountain Wrestling memories, man.
Oh, man. We also had Bluegrass Brawl here. It was their version of like a pay-per-view back then. They had a cage match. I think it had barbed wire around the top of it before that was ever done that I'd heard of. I don't know if ECW came up with that or Smoky Mountain did or what. But, dude, I mean, that was some of the best times, and it cracks me up because my mother would always tell me, I don't know how they're bleeding like that, but it's fake. It's just a blood pack. They would come up in the stands and, like, be rolling down like the wooden stands. And, I mean, they were wild as bucks. And Mom was just you could not convince her that was real blood, but it was.
It's so good. It's so funny. All right, Brandon, let me get to your comment before we move on to some of the rest of the night. He wants to know, since Bayley got jumped, apparently, I missed this on the pre-show. Bayley gets jumped. She is getting replaced tomorrow night in the tag team match against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. I mean, guys, the logical choice here is Becky Lynch, right? She's a friend of Lyra Valkyria. She comes and turns on Lyra Valkyria. We get that feud there. I think that makes a ton of sense. I don't know really of any other spectacular. We have 2 mystery spots tomorrow night, so they got to hit. I don't know of any other woman on the roster that's going to make a big impact in a surprise role. Do you, Andy?
No. And in fact, if it's not Becky, then this is a pointless mystery.
Because Rey Mysterio got replaced tonight due to a legit injury, which we'll talk about in a second. Bayley's
was playing
a injury. So this is
if you're pulling Bayley off of WrestleMania, you have to have somebody big in place. And the only name I can think of is Becky. Like, I don't want to see a Bella twin. I don't want to see Ronda Rousey. I know she just got it put in the Hall of Fame. But I don't want to really see Michelle McCool. Like, I think the only person this would be a Becky Lynch. Otherwise, it's kind of a slap in the face to Bayley. I think it's kind of a slap in the face to Bayley to do this anyway. But I think it has to be Becky.
Jared, let me post this comment before you answer, because I know that you would be excited to see Becky Lynch as well. Brandon says, could be a new person, could be Britt Baker if contract situation were to work out. She was recently released.
Yep. And 2 things are interesting. First, the 2 people that said recently, in things that I've seen and read, Brock Lesnar apparently claimed that he was retired. And apparently Becky Lynch said in some interview that she was done wrestling. I saw that as a headline in the last couple of days. But I mean, I'm always up for seeing Nikki Bella. I really liked her. She's not bad to watch wrestle. I hate Brie. I hope to God it's not her. But I mean, whatever this was, apparently it was last minute, because I don't think they would have just yanked Bailey off or even planned her to be there ahead of time just to take it away. I think something came up, and that plays right into Becky saying recently that she was done, and now maybe she's back in.
It's definitely going to be interesting. It's definitely one of the things that we are watching for tomorrow night. Let's get to one or two other things before we sign off here tonight. It was a loaded night of WrestleMania. Lots of stuff that we want to get to. Ooh, Bryce says, this is a good one. Mickie James, if Aldis wrestles, that Mickie James could be interesting as well. I don't think it's a huge name, but wait. Okay, I got to read this. Aaron says, Jared hating Brie checks out. He's always struck me as a mozzarella guy. How do you feel about mozzarella cheese, Jared?
Love it. Love all cheeses. I'm good.
To educate the public here, Andy, there was a debate in our office, and apparently mozzarella cheese is just, you're not supposed to like mozzarella cheese, apparently.
What?
I don't, see, that's what I'm saying.
It's my favorite cheese.
What?
It's Andy's favorite cheese, Aaron.
Yeah.
Look at that. Andy's favorite cheese. I love that so much. Oh, geez. All right, let's keep it moving here. Let's go to the World Heavyweight Championship, the match that opened the show. Get Jey Uso finally getting the monkey off his back, that is Gunther, winning the championship. A lot of people online were already crapping all over this match, already crapping on Jey Uso being champion, which it's the internet wrestling community. It's going to happen. Andy, I thought it was a really entertaining match.
Yeah, it was everything it needed to be to get Jey to where he was, to get Jey to where he gets. Like I wasn't expecting this to be a 5-star classic. I wasn't expecting this to be.
Not.
I wasn't expecting this to be like Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew, or even Gunther versus Sammy last year. That being said, I absolutely, with everything in my being, hated the finish to this match. Gunther does not need to tap out to Jey Uso.
I agree with that.
That part made me mad. Like that part, out of everything that happened in the match, and I picked Jey to win. I think Jey winning makes sense from a lot of perspectives, but having Gunther tap to Jey was just ended the match horribly. To a match that would have been just fine to get the job done for Jey. I mean, the dude hit 4 splashes on him and 3 spears back to back to back. Why couldn't he have just pinned him instead of making him tap?
Aaron says the tap killed the entire vibe of the match. Do you agree, Jared?
I thought it was ruined. So we talked about the Charlotte match. It was hard for me to watch this one. I was doing other things. Like I thought I was going to be excited, but I wasn't. The other thing I did not like was that the first time, to my knowledge, Gunther is supposed to be this heel that wins clean. That's why he wasn't like every other heel. And he busted Jey in the head with the title. And I said, I don't like that. That does not fit his character.
I noticed it and thought it was a cool spot, but I didn't think of it in that way. So that's a great observation by you. I think I just more enjoyed it because I was shocked by the finish. I didn't look at it as killing the vibes. I was just shocked at the moment. But at the end of it, when I started thinking about it, I was like, yeah, I didn't really like it, but I was shocked by it. And I was okay with, obviously, with Jey winning. I think we're all okay with it. It was, Triple H said it in an interview earlier this week, that Jey Uso is not the greatest of wrestlers currently. Like, he's not. But he connects with the people, and he has that connection, and that's what sells merch, and that's what sells tickets, and that's that. And we saw how short his Intercontinental title run was, so maybe this won't be very long either. Brandon back in the comments saying, I think they're setting up for a Backlash I Quit match between Jey and Gunther. That would make sense.
That's cool.
I definitely don't want to see this match again for the 6th or 7th time or whatever we're on.
Strap match.
It would make sense.
I'd rather see a strap match.
Yeah,
I think I want to see them both whip each other with that strap.
I don't want to see either one of them say I quit. I'm not a huge component of that, but I agree. Some stipulation, steel cage or ladder or a last man standing match, like that way you don't have to tap, you just can bury him under stuff or use weapons or whatever. But yeah, I think if we do run this back, there needs to be some kind of stipulation behind it.
Yeah, there has to be a way to end up, spicing it up or whatever, because again, like tonight wasn't the greatest of showings, but it was the feel good moment that we all knew it was going to be to get the crowd going, and his entrance was super cool. It took forever, but it was super cool, I thought. But it is what it is. Let's hit a couple other high points before we get out of here. Appreciate you guys being with us. Again, if you're new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. The majority of our viewership is not subscribed. Guys, it doesn't cost you a thing. It helps us a ton. Just hit that subscribe button and then come back tomorrow night. We're going to be live right after night 2 as well. Plus all kinds of content that we have dropped all week. There's fantasy booking. There's Hall of Fame stuff. Just anything you could want. We predicted it. Go back and check to see if our predictions were right. Go back and just check all of those things out. And then, of course, you see it on the ticker on the show. We are live every Monday after Raw. So you can comment. You can be with us. Aaron says, just think if you subscribe, maybe they'll let you be on the show. Well, there's a good chance of that. I'm just saying. What's up, Jared?
A couple things. First, I see Allegiant Stadium. It looks like in the background. I just noticed that. That's super cool. Me and Chris saw SummerSlam there. But my buddy Gabe from Hideaway Novelties, he was wanting to actually come on and be a guest on the show, and I said, "Man, we'd love to have you." But what I was originally sticking my finger up for, like I had something to say, I'm the one. But also Justin Taylor that I was mentioning earlier, he was like, "Hey man, do you all do like any like old school stuff?" And I was like, "Dude, that's what they call me on the show. Old school. We talk about it. Tune in. If you all want to hear something, let us know. I mean, text me, text Chris, text Andy. Get in the comments, email us. We want to do what you all want to hear, and we will make that happen."
The show is for the fans, by the fans, and we say it all the time. I always have pages of notes for every show, but your guys' comments, that's what drives the show. We talk about what you want to hear about. Interesting comment here. Let's go to Brandon again in the chat. I think TKO is doing a much better job with WWE than Vince did, because it worked for WWE in the Vince era in 2004. So I'm happy that TKO is making WWE better now. Yeah. I mean, like there was a point where there was no choice but to go up, and now they are, they're breaking merch records and attendance records and yada, yada, yada. So yes, doing a fantastic job right now. Let's rapid fire here. Let's go through a couple of things. Andy, what was something else that stood out to you from night 1? I know that, I think it was Aaron way back in the comments said that he wasn't a fan of the rest of the stuff of night 1, but the main event made up for it. And before we hit record, Andy, you were a little bit down on night 1 as well. What were some things that stood out to you, good or bad?
Jacob Fatu is the man. He is the man. He is absolutely fantastic. I think out of everything that happened tonight, outside of the main event, Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight was the best match on the card outside of the triple threat. That BFT from the top rope on the moonsault was wild.
That was so cool.
Absolutely wild. And then I was telling Katie, for him to hit the dub, whatever he calls it, where he jumps in the middle rope, jumps in the top rope, hits the moonsault, for him to hit that back-to-back twice, clean both times without even slipping, it's just a testament to how great he is. And I think this was them starting the rocket to his back, pushing him to the moon, to where I could see him this time next year being in that Jey Uso spot of going for a world title at WrestleMania.
Bryce, I see your comment. I'm going to get to that because that's one of the things that I want to bring up. Jared, go ahead. What are some things you want to bring up?
First of all, just talking about what Andy said, I want to go back and see. Logan Paul recently said something that just blew my mind, but I mean, it's smart. That he would get the ref to sneak and wipe down the ropes so he would not slip whenever he does moonsaults and all his crazy stuff. I wonder if LA Knight gets the ref to do the same thing, because if I'm not mistaken, early on, whenever he was just starting to kind of skyrocket, he missed one of those. Like he slipped a little bit or something. But yeah, man, my biggest takeaways, of course, is the main event, everything that happened with that. Tiffy getting her tooth cracked off, man. I mean, I want to know if Charlotte did that on purpose. I think it'll come out at some point. I'm very interested to see. Hopefully there's some repercussions on her end. If I was Tiffany, I would beat the dog crap out of Charlotte, either backstage or in the next match.
Oh man. One of the things that I want to bring up is Jade and Naomi. I thought it was better than expected. I thought both of them worked really, really hard. Bryce in the comments, Naomi should have won. I agree. I'm not surprised that Jade won. I think Naomi should have won because, again, my prediction is it bleeds over into tomorrow night, but that's just me. And the other thing too, guys, impromptu, Rey Fenix makes his WrestleMania debut 2 weeks into the company. Andy, that was a fun match. It really was. My biggest gripe, and I told the people that I was watching this with that I would bring it up on the show. So if I don't bring it up, they're going to be upset. El Grande Americano.
There you go.
Sorry. Put the ankle lock on the wrong
ankle.
Bro, he put it on the wrong ankle.
Oh, I was sitting on my couch going, wrong ankle. Go grab the other one, wrong ankle. But then it makes sense. If he hurt that one, go after the other one, because now he can't walk on either one.
I guess, whatever.
I'm just trying to save it for him. I think he just got confused.
Or you could do like Chris did me back in the day whenever he busted my knee open. You put the figure 4 on the hurt leg.
Listen. Both of those details are incorrect, and I am here to correct them for you. First of all, you went for a splash in the corner, which was a couch. I moved. You busted your knee on said couch. And then after we took an injury timeout to wrap said knee, I put the scorpion deathlock on said knee, not the figure 4. And you did the old tap, and I was the victor. I was just taking advantage of the situation, Andy.
So what I'm hearing is Chris is an unsafe worker.
Yes.
Chris is an unsafe worker. He
was Charlotte Flair back in the day.
He's Goldberg.
Oh, speaking of which, me and you, Andy, we both said that Jade was going to go burger, and she actually hit the jackhammer. Did anybody else notice that?
I did. The way she caught Naomi too was incredible.
Oh my gosh, it was insane. Yes,
there was like strong. In every match tonight, there was at least a moment where I was like, okay, that was cool. That moment was cool. Because there's a couple things like even in the New Day match, which was kind of a throwaway match, but there was like a couple of spots in there. I was like, okay, I forgot how good Ivar actually is as a
Ivar doing moonsaults and all that,
floating around the ropes, man, like a cruiserweight. It's crazy.
I thought he was going to break him, dude. I thought they broke.
Oh man, it was insane. Just so you guys are aware, no, I'm not an unsafe worker. I just take advantage. Right.
Smart worker.
One could call me the ultimate opportunist. All right. I mean, I know that nickname's taken, but
very true. It suits you.
Let's get ready to wrap this show up, guys. Put a bow on night 1 of WrestleMania. You guys that are joining us live, again, keep those comments coming. Let's read them for a few more minutes before we get out of here. We appreciate that so much. Good live viewership tonight. We appreciate that so much. Again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it helps us a ton.
There's something I want to do for Chris, and I need your all's help. He wants to hit 500 subscribers, and we need to make that happen. I've been getting out. I've been working my hind end off trying to get people hanging up flyers, everything else. You all right now can help me help Chris to achieve this goal.
The goal for Squared Circle Radio is 500 subscribers by the end of the year. We are close to 300. Would love to get to 300 by the end of WrestleMania weekend. The goal is 500 by the end of the year. That would help us so much. So again, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Let me get to Bryce's comment here. Shout out to HBK for that speech last night. Of course, he's talking about the Hall of Fame speech that aired at 3 a.m. or whatever it was. Listen, I'll be honest. It's been a long weekend. I have not gone back and watched the speech yet.
I was watching.
but I will. Jared, how was the speech since you were watching?
I liked it. I dug the whole thing, man. During the earthquake, natural disasters induction, I thought that kind of dragged a little bit. But man, to see Typhoon and just the true love that he had for that man, it almost made me cry just watching it, dude. I mean, you need to see it.
Andy, did you watch it live?
No, I did not. I actually kind of forgot about it, and then I was scrolling Twitter last night. I was like, oh, they're just now starting, and Triple H is going to go last. And then I saw he talked for like an hour and 7 minutes or whatever it was. So I was like, I'll go back and catch the highlights of it later. But I thought it was like we texted back and forth, Chris, about this. Why was Lex not out there tonight?
Yeah, a lot of people were starting to drop those comments in right here. Brandon, why was Lex not here tonight? Bryce, why was Lex not there tonight? I would have to think, Jared, and maybe you have some inside information that I don't. I would just have to think there was some sort of something that had to come up that he wasn't there, because I would think even if he couldn't be there, they would acknowledge that he was in the Hall of Fame, and they didn't. I wouldn't think there's a personal beef, because they wouldn't have put him in the Hall of Fame if that had been the case, right?
My best guess, and it's sad, Lex does seem to be kind of very self-aware that he can't walk. I just wonder if maybe he said, I can't walk out there. I can stand up, but I can't walk, and I'm not going to be wheeled out there. So just don't mention me. That would be my best guess.
That's very likely.
That's a possibility.
That's the best answer that I've heard yet. So I'm gonna go with that one. Brad, our buddy Brad, in the comments, he is subscribed on 2 accounts already. Hey, that's it. Listen, if you have to create a burner account, we are not
more. Keep subscribing, Brad.
We are not opposed to burner accounts. I have subscribed on my burner account as well. Okay, so no judgment on burner accounts. All right, burner accounts are real accounts too. Yes, we appreciate it so very much. All right, guys, night number 1. What are you looking forward to as we approach night number 2? I mean, there's a lot loaded card for tomorrow night. Jared, I'll start with you as we wrap up here. What are you looking forward to for tomorrow?
Mainly the thing that just pops into my mind is I want to see more Paul Heyman. I hope, again, that they have some sort of story regardless of what it is. And, of course, I want to see how this Cody situation turns out, and I want to see The Rock. I want to hear that glass shatter. I want Rock to take one more epic stunner where he just gets stunned and bounces and flip-flops all over the ring. It's a thing of beauty, man, and I want to see it.
Andy?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing that obviously pops off in my mind is the main event, just to see how everything kind of plays out. And listen, I know we talked about this story to death, but credit to Cody Rhodes on Friday night, who 1 second the arena was booing him out of the building, and less than 5 seconds later they were chanting and cheering his name. That's just, I mean, that just goes to show. That just goes to show like how much he gets it and how much he understands. Like, they're going to boo me for a second, but I'll get him back on my side. Cena will say something. He'll get him back on their side. We're fickle as wrestling fans. So, like, of course we're going to go back and forth. But I'm excited to see what they do. I'm excited to see what they do for the main event. I'm excited for the women's triple threat. I think it's going to be one that could in-ring steal the whole weekend. I think it could be fantastic. And something that we're not, a surprise outcome that we may not have expected to see. And just, I'm hoping for more consistency in the matches on night 2. Just better across the board.
I'm like Bryce. I'm looking forward to the street fight. We talked about that on the Sports Wire Radio WrestleMania preview show last night about how low key, like, these guys have a whole lot to prove. They're reading the online chatter about how Drew deserves a better spot than Priest, and Priest, this, that, and the other, whatever. No, these guys are going to go out and tear it up and just beat the absolute crap out of each other. Speaking of Sports Wire Radio, Tom Bryce in the chat right here.
Yeah.
Great stuff,
Big
fellas.
Tom energy.
Not only will you get the 500 subs, but 1,000. Listen, let's go, Tom. Spread the word. I know that Tom does a fantastic job of playing our shows and getting the word out. We appreciate that so very much. Jared, you had one last thing before we wrap.
I forgot it now, so just go ahead. And I put my finger up. If you don't get to it quick, it's gone.
It is a late night. It's going to be an early morning, but that's not going to stop us. We'll be back right here tomorrow night. Subscribe to the channel.
Happy Easter.
Again, yes, happy Easter to everybody that is watching. And make sure that you guys go back and check out all the great stuff that we put up this week on the channel. We would appreciate it so very much. For Mr. Andy York, my name is Chris Belcher. That's my brother from another mother, Jared Justice. Thank you guys so much for being with us on WrestleMania Night 1 post show. We will see you right back here tomorrow night.